Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Mathematics Monday. Today we're looking at how to find a decimal part of an amount. The question that a student in grade 7 has given me specifically is how would they find 0.45 or 45 hundredths of $750. So let's have a look at the question in more detail. So the first thing I like to do, and I've been through this in other videos, is do an estimate, calculate an estimate. So I know if my answer is likely to be around the right result when I work out my final solution. So 0.45 of 750 is like saying 0.45 times 750. 0.45 is 45 hundredths, which is pretty close to 50 hundredths, or 50 out of 100, which is also equivalent to half. So I'd expect that the answer to this question is going to be just less than half of $750. So I would expect my answer to be not more than 375. So the easiest way to solve this kind of problem is to use multiplication. We can use multiplication as I've set it out here. I have drawn my lines and set up my problem in blue, the light blue, put a 0 here. And then I have calculated 5 times each of the numbers and put that here. Then I've shifted over one decimal place and started in the tens column, and I'm doing 4 times all of those numbers. The answer when I did that all together is 33750, but I'm going to work out where to put the decimal place, which is 2 decimal places in, because there's 2 decimals in the question. So 750, I haven't put any decimals in there, and 0.45 has 2 decimal places. So I'm using those 2 decimal places into my answer and gives me the answer $337.50, which is just slightly less than $375, which was my original estimate. So I think that probably is correct. We can also use division when we're working with decimals, because as I said before, 0.45 is 45 hundredths. So what we can do is divide the number to find 100th. We can divide it by 100. When we do a division by 100, because it's a multiple of 10, 100, it's quite easy. We just move the decimal place a certain number of zeros. So 100 has 2 zeros in it, so I'm going to move my decimal place 2 spots to the left, assuming that the decimal place here is at the end of the number because I haven't had to use it yet. 1, 2 to the left. $7.50 is 100th of $750. Then, now that I've found that small piece, I'll just move my face off the words up here. Oops, and go back in a second. Okay, so we found when I do that, and I've got $7.50, that's one small piece, 100th of the 100 pieces that 750 has in it. And so that is $7.50. And then I use multiplication again to work out what 45 of those hundredths would be. So here, $7.50 times 45, and it looks very similar to what I did on the previous slide, except that we don't have the decimal places in there. So I know the answer is going to be the same. I just don't have to go back and put any decimals in at the end. Okay, so you can still work out what 100th is using division and multiply that out. What could be interesting is if you knew what 100th was, and then the question also asked you to find 0.45 and then maybe find 0.2. Then you could use the 100th that you'd found and multiply it by 45 and multiply it by 20, and that would give you both answers to the same question. So that might be a shortcut depending on the way the question is phrased. In this instance, multiplying by the decimal is often easier, but it is good to understand both processes and be able to use them. So the solution to that question, if you worked it out yourself before you came to check with the video, the question was, what is 0.45 of $750? And the answer is $337.50. How did you go? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, guys.